I get a lot of comments like this talking about different like hotkeys and stuff that people didn't know existed, so I figured let's just put them all in one video. Here are all of the roofing sort of hotkeys and stuff that I know. If you know any that I don't, put them in the comments and I'll pin you. So starting with shift, one thing that's super helpful with shift is if you copy a roof and then you hold shift, you can actually place it multiple times, which can make roofing a little bit faster. You can also hold shift to just move one eave at a time, which works anywhere where eaves are separated. This does not work on the hipped roofs because all the eaves are together. If you press shift C, you're going to get extra curving controls on your roof, so you can do all sorts of funky stuff. If you need a more exact pitch on your roof, you can hold Alt to get it to move more smoothly, which is super helpful if you're doing dormers or anything like that. And if you need to resize your roof but you don't want the height to change, you can actually hold Alt to keep the roof at the same height. Sometimes if you have like a super customized roof piece, when you copy and place it, it doesn't place perfectly. This looks pretty good, but it could be a slightly different height, which can really mess you up again on like dormers and stuff. So if you notice that that's happening, you can hold Alt while you copy and place, and then that will make sure that everything that you did stays perfectly. I didn't have it happen this time, but sometimes when I'm doing mansard roofs, this becomes a real issue, so holding the Alt key while you copy, if your roof isn't placing right, just absolute game changer. I think that's all the hotkeys that I know, but let me know if I missed any.
Where should I put my shoes? Ay, mi amor, ay, mi amor. You say put them on your head. Ay, mi amor, ay, mi amor. You make me un poco loco. You make me un poco loco.
Turns out you guys have a lot of creative solutions to this problem, so I thought we should try some of them out together, see what we like. One suggestion I saw a few times was to place the gate first using move objects and then try drawing a fence through it. And it kind of works, but you do still have gaps on the side, so I'm going to give that one like 4 out of 10 because there are better ways to do this that look better. Like starting with a gap in your fence line, then bringing the gate into place and putting bushes or something on either side. Now, people who mentioned this just did say decoration, not necessarily bushes or whatever, but I feel like that fits this build, so that's what I went with. I like this better than just like drawing the fence through it, so 8 out of 10. Another one I really liked would be to draw sort of off to the side, like this, like it's a gate that's been swung open. The main downside to this is you can't lock it that way, but it is nice. I do like how this looks. It probably depends what fence you use, like how good it works, but I do like this one. I'm giving this one 8 out of 10 too. I don't know why I'm rating these. Another one you guys mentioned would be to place a half wall and then put a door on it. I imagine something like this. I think this would work okay for taller fences like this, especially if you added some columns. But I still don't think it's my favorite. I'm going to do 6 out of 10 on this one. Definitely not bad, but not great. Now, I wondered about using a spandrel and columns to sort of frame out an area like this. I think this does not go well with this particular build style at all, and it would definitely work better if this was at a short wall height as opposed to a tall wall height. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to mess up the build, but I think this one has some applications. Not super beautiful though. Probably better for like a cottage build. I'm giving this one 7. Of course, if you're a user of debug, you can take advantage of the debug fences and gates and stuff like that. The main downside to using these items is their hitbox. That little green box there is really small, so this won't actually keep other sims off your property. It does look nice though, and you can place it wherever you want. I'll turn the grid on so you can see. This can place wherever you want it to place. This can place wherever you want it to place, so that is handy. For decorative purposes, I definitely say 10 out of 10. You should really try using debug if it doesn't matter so much, but as far as security goes, it's like a 2 out of 10. No good. For science, I wanted to see how other fences sort of looked as gates. I think that you could definitely get away with some of these more than others. I'm going to have to experiment with this more. Thanks for all the ideas. Also, here's the full build for anyone who wanted to see it. Definitely one of my favorites. It's called Classic Russian Mansion. It's pretty nice. It's just a shell though. Can I build here? Oh. What about here? Oh. Okay, what about here? What? This is a very boring video. This one's pretty. Can I build here? Oh, crying out loud. May I pretty please build here? Finally. Okay, thank you. Thought this was gonna get ugly for a second. Alright, do I get a front porch? Awesome. Okay, are we going to walk into an entryway? Are we walking into the kitchen? Okay. If anyone's wondering if I'm working from a floor plan or anything, I'm not. I'm just winging it. I would really like a dining room next, please. Can I have a living room? Sweet, that'll work. I would like to humbly request a half bath. Perhaps. I don't care, I'm putting in a half bath. Shall I use this space for an office? Awesome. Can I add a family bath? Can I add a bedroom? Can I add, like, a master bedroom? Shall I add a children's bedroom? Shall I add a room exclusively for cats? Makes sense. Alright, I gave you your cat room. Can I do a bathroom now? Can I do a bedroom? Can I do a children's bedroom? Can I do a guest bedroom? Do I have to do a room for dogs? Oh, well, thank goodness. Please tell me there's a place to sleep in this house for people? Maybe. I can't think of what other room somebody would sleep in. Do I need to add another room before you'll let me put in a bedroom? Okay, so, but it's not a dog room or a cat room. What other rooms are there? Should I add, like, a movie room? Oh, okay, sure. I'm going to extend this hall a tad because I'm still holding out for a bathroom or a bedroom. Okay, I gave you your movie room. Can I please have a bedroom? Can I do a bathroom? Thank you. I know this is just a filter and the challenge was my idea, but it's still getting on my nerves. I just want a bedroom. Can I please have a bedroom? Oh my goodness. Can I have a children's bedroom? Okay, so a kid lives here alone with a bunch of cats, apparently, is the story. Alright, the child is unsupervised. I'm going to ask one last time. May I add an adult bedroom? Thank you. We have adults. The build is almost complete. Just a couple more questions. May I, pretty please, with sugar on top, give this a roof? Oh my word, can I landscape? Well, thank you for that. One last time, can I please add a roof? Okay, well, fine. In that case, here's a last look at the floor plan. And the outside. Don't forget to let me know if you'd like to see me suffer more. Man, I've been building for years, and I just hate how when you go to add a basement, it replaces a foundation and raises up the terrain and... Oh wait, what's that? All you have to do is select the room and drag it down with this little double-sided arrow to lower the foundation of the basement, and then when you go back up, the foundation is magically there again? And this has been a feature the whole time? The whole time? If you're newer to building, don't want to use a floor plan, but still want a house you're proud of, try using these steps. Let me know how it goes for you. First, just start placing your rooms. You know you want an entry, you know you want to walk into the kitchen, you know what you want a living space off of there, and also a dining room. So just start laying out your rooms. Whether or not you want to keep these walls is irrelevant. This is just to sort of get the size and layout going. Now, to make it easier to roof, I'm going to try and explain this. You want a lot of right angles, preferably no not right angles, and you kind of want to avoid having a whole corner sticking out like this, so I'd want to expand the dining space or shrink the living space to sort of get that corner here to not stick out so bad. That's going to make roofing a lot easier. When you start roofing, just start with a hipped roof piece. It's not going to look great, but you can change this out for other roof pieces. Bring out your eaves and check the pitch and the height. Overall, you don't want your height to be much taller than the whole wall, and the pitch depends on the build style you're going for if you have one in mind. But once you have this done, you can copy and place this roof piece on the other pieces, and they will all line up. Once you're at this point, you can replace some of those hipped roof pieces with gables or other pieces that you may want. To finish up the outside, I would like a little bit of a deck on my entry point here. Start with a flat square, and then you can resize it to fit whatever shape you need. And to raise the foundation, use this arrow that's inside the rooms. You can raise it 1, 7, I don't know, it can go really tall, probably not too tall. If you just raise it 1 though, you don't need steps, so that's handy. And when in doubt, centralize. Center your door, grab some windows and center them in the walls. Is this always going to look best? No, but it will look better, and then you can tweak it as you need to. The next step is don't leave anything default. Change out your roof trim, change out your roof texture, play with it, get the color combination you want, but don't leave it default. You can also grab some stone to finish off that little balcony, porch, whatever, make a nice walking path, and at this point the outside is still looking pretty bland. But a tree placed to one side, maybe a row of hedges, and other plants, which you can of course resize with the bracket keys, 10 out of 10 do recommend, will help bring some life to the front of your build. Use a small soft brush to paint under your foundation and your plants. Now let's take a quick look back inside. Use the wall tool and hold Control to remove any walls you may not want. Use different color floor tiles to further differentiate the spaces. I would probably end up laying out the space something like this. And I tend to get a lot of comments on these types of videos where it's like, oh my gosh, that's so basic, but that's kind of the point. You start with basic, you build your confidence in the skills, and I missed a piece of roofing trim. There we go. But you build your confidence and you move on from there. 3 tips for better interiors. First, make sure that your doors match whatever paneling or baseboards or whatever you may have. Doesn't necessarily have to match the floor, that's just what worked out here. However, what should match the floor are your stairs. To recolor stairs, all you have to do is grab the new one and place it directly on top of the old one. This will keep whatever shape or style or whatever you had going. And finally, if you have Get to Work, use the fence for window shopping to add a more professional looking transition between 2 different floor types. I like to use whatever color tends to match like the primary floor, which generally is wood, but you'll see this all the time in real life houses, and yes, your Sims can walk right over it. It just looks a lot nicer than sort of that raw edge. If you play The Sims 4 and your builds look like this, don't worry, we can get it all fixed up in less than a minute. First, grab your room tool and whatever side the door is not on up to half of the width of the build, so in this case that's 5 tiles, but bring it out 2 tiles. After you've fixed your windows, rotate that roof around so that it is facing the front, and the first thing we want to do with this roof is pitch it down so that this part of the roof is less than the height of your wall. From there you can copy, place it right there, just like that. Next, grab a flat square. We're just going to add a little bit of a deck off the front here. Grab this arrow in the middle to raise your foundation up. You want to go up maybe 3 or 4. Next, switch up anything that's still default, such as the foundation, shingles, and roof trim. If you're using this siding, you can add one of the half brick versions to add a little bit more detail, maybe decorate a little bit, and you're done. If your build is all right angles, you can use this roofing method to get a roof that looks decent and maybe even good. Under promise, over deliver, am I right? Anyway, you're going to start with a hipped roof piece and cover the largest possible part of your build. For me, that's going to be right here. Now you're going to adjust the eaves and the pitch to whatever you need. If I want this to be Mediterranean, for example, I'm going to do a pretty low pitch. Next, copy your roof piece, move it in one direction until it runs into another wall, and then keeping contact with that wall that you just ran into, resize that roof piece so that it lines up with this one. If it's too small, you'll see a valley. Don't want that. Pull it in so that it lines up. A little bit faster, copy, move, resize, good. This even works for weird bits like this. Copy, move it in one direction and resize it so that it lines up. Then copy, move in one direction, keep contact with that far wall, and resize it until it lines up. Now we have a continuous ridge line and no valleys. And that's how you start roofing. Here's how to make your own tiny town to build on. Or if you just want this one, it's on the gallery. I recommend starting on the largest lot you can. A few worlds have 64 by 64 lots, so that's what I'm working on today. And to find the center, usually I just take a fence and make a big ol' X. Now that I can see the center, I can more easily divide it in half in my brain and decide how many streets I want. Now since this is a 64 by 64, I think we'll be just fine dividing it into 16 sections, which is what I showed at the beginning. Now to get rid of the diagonal lines, you'll hold Control and just draw over the lines again to add some streets. Go into your stone textures and grab something that looks like a road. I like to use where the rubber hits the road or the not so drab slab. And then you're going to draw a 4 tile area like this, and there's your road, and you'll just follow along, 2 tiles on either side of any fence line that you want to turn into a road. Right, so if I wanted to do like a U-shaped road on this one, I would do it like this. If you want to add sidewalks as well, you can use the sidewalk slabs right here. You can place them right next to the road or 1 tile away, depending on if you want that little piece of lawn or not. And don't forget to add little places for your people to cross the street. Now the next step, back to fences, I want to get rid of this grid. Now I like adding a little fence to sort of differentiate between the lots, so I'm going to add a fence back in. Oh, and in case you're wondering, each one of these squares right now is 16 tiles by 16 tiles. I think this is looking pretty good. Back to fences again. If you have the Strangerville pack or Get to Work, they both have low-lying fences and that come in very bright colors, and these are really, really good for making sort of lines in the road. A good formula to use is 3 tiles and then skip 2. When you come to a crosswalk, switch over to a white, draw your little box, and add some diagonal lines. Or, for a pack-free version of a crosswalk, you can grab a white floor texture, press Ctrl F, and then make diagonal lines like this instead. I did fences last time, but I kind of like this better. I know in a lot of areas the lines are vertical. However, the full tiles I feel like are a little bit much, so I'd probably go back to the fence if I wanted to use lines like that. Also, these really low fences your Sims can generally walk across. You could also consider adding driveways, whether that's more tarmac like this, more concrete, gravel, kinda depends on the neighborhood you're building, I guess. You can also search through debug or the gallery for road signs and fire hydrants. I do recommend the gallery, it's a little bit easier, go to item name and just type in what you're looking for. If I type in fire hydrant, I've got so many options. It will generally place as a room, so all you have to do is place it, move the object to where you want it, and delete the room. Same goes for street signs, and even street lights, which yes, do light up at night. And there's your tiny neighborhood all ready for building.
Capybara, 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 capybara.